Hello, my name is Anne, your guide to an animals get even. If you like bloodthirsty animals getting back at humanity, then it would be ideal, instead of ideal, for you to subscribe now. Now, today's animal has some thoughts about constantly being made fun of for its nose. It's the seal, specifically the elephant seal. We'll start in New Zealand. Now here we can see this lovely male elephant seal smashing some cars.
His name is Homer, and he's a 15-foot long, 4,500-pound elephant seal who likes to turn their parked cars into punching bags.
Yeah, elephant seals are the largest seals on the planet. Their skull dwarfs even a grizzly bear's skull. They can get to about 4,500 pounds. And males, over time, develop these, long noses that look like cut off elephant trunks, basically. But they have to reach maturity for that. So the seal in question, smashing cars here, isn't even full grown. Yeah, his name is Homer. And that's so cute. Why did they give him a name? I don't know, but I love it. His name is Homer, and he's about 15 feet long. And his favorite hobby is beating up on cars.
Watch as Homer goes 10 rounds with this late model sedan. Turns out, solid steel is no match for this heavyweight.
So what you see here is a male elephant seal being very aggressive. They get really aggressive during the mating season, and apparently they view cars as rivals. Which, I would like to think that an elephant seal is smart enough to understand this is not a living thing. There's no heartbeat or warmth or any signs of life, but I guess we just blame it on those pesky hormones gushing through the brain again, huh? The reason I'm showing you this video is so you can get an idea of how large and how in charge these seals really are. Homer does not have the nose that you would expect, but that's just because he's like 2,500-ish, I don't know, pounds. He's not even a full-grown boy. The next story I'm gonna go over is, I don't want to say controversial, but it has some things that leave us with questions. I want to say right now, I am not saying any of this is a fact. I am not claiming any of this is the truth. I am just giving the information that I found. It is up to you as the viewer to make your own decision about what you're seeing, okay? What we have is Florian and Seth. They are experienced divers, and they are going to be filming an episode of Untamed and Uncut from Animal Planet.
Florian and Seth know it's risky, but take their chances and stay in the water.
There were a lot of concerns, should we really do this or not?
They go out into the ocean and they are playing with an elephant seal. They're hugging him, they're touching him, they're doing all the things, and they don't feel threatened at all. However, as Roughhouse so often does, things turn to tears. That's from Frasier.
What Florian captures next on tape is nothing short of remarkable. The men are playing with the seal, hugging him like a giant teddy bear. They don't feel threatened at all. But don't be fooled. This is a wild, unpredictable beast that can turn dangerous at any moment.
The next thing you know, the elephant seal has Florian by the head, and he describes the darkness inside the mouth, the feeling of, his face through the mask being pressed against the seal's tongue. He gives some, interesting details to that.
Came straight at me and just grabbed my head. I found myself head stuck in the mouth of an elephant seal. It got dark, and I had my face literally resting on his tongue. You can actually hear me yell, scream a little bit, because I was scared for my life.
Apparently, the seal gets tired of Florian and switches over to Seth. He's grabbing arms, he's kind of pulling on the divers, all this stuff is happening.
Luckily for Florian, this 13-foot-long monster of the deep lets go. But now, his assistant Seth is in trouble.
Instantly, he came and tried to grab Seth's head, my head. He kind of kept swapping between the two of us. This whole game unfolded.
But the elephant seal isn't playing, and Seth's in real danger.
So here's where it gets a little tricky. Untamed and Uncut is a production. Okay. And as we all know from reality TV shows, these are typically scripted. Just because they say that they're, not doing anything doesn't mean that that's actually what's happening. I am in no way saying that is what happened with this show. I am not looking to get sued by Animal Planet. I am just saying that there were some comments on the original video that talked about the two guys in question and the issue with the seal. So another reason I'm saying this is because we've already talked some about elephant seals. Now they also have protruding canine teeth on the bottom, kind of like jutting out. And they have canine teeth on the top. And they're ginormous. So if an elephant seal wants to actually rip you to shreds, it's gonna rip you to shreds.
Bernie LaBeouf says this elephant seal is young, maybe 8 years old, and not full grown. But he's still capable of ripping a grown man apart.
All the elephant seal has to do is chomp down, and he pierces the skin, he breaks the arm.
There is a lot of speculation that actually what was happening is the seal was playing with them. Which again, like, roughhouse turns to tears. If the seal had wanted to physically harm them, it would have. If it wanted to tear his head off, it would have. You know what I mean? Again, I am not an expert in marine biology. I actually tend to stay on the land. I don't know. I hate water. I don't know. This may or may not have been a genuine attack. I have no way to know. This is an alleged elephant seal attack. You as the viewer are free to make up your own mind about it, okay? That's on you. And you know what? Tell me in the comments. Let me know. What do you think about it? I'm very curious. I really want to know, like, when you see this, because I know when I watched it, I went, whoa, that's horrifying. That's so scary. And when I looked more into it, I was like, wait a second. Let me know your thoughts. Now we're going to Sonoma Beach. Here we have a 2,500 pound male. I have no way to verify the veracity of this claim. I don't know if he looked at him and went, that looks like 2,500 pounds, or if they somehow like have this guy's weight. I do not know. Now, this seal, his name is Nibbles. I know, it's the cutest name ever, Nibbles. And I have no idea why they gave him this name. This is just how he is locally known. He is known as Nibbles. So, it's a cute name for a very destructive bad boy. He has been described as the most aggressive elephant seal that longtime residents have ever seen. And they've seen quite a few. There are warning signs on the beaches around the area, and officials have cautioned the public about swimming or wading in the estuary around Goat Rock Beach, because that's where Nibbles is hanging out. Even kayakers are wary. They're scouting out the estuary from bluffs overlooking it before they go for a paddle, because none of them want to encounter him. A former surfer who does volunteer work for nonprofits and the government actually went out and said that this elephant seal bull does straight up murder. Yeah. Apparently he chases down female harbor seals and he dispatches them. They're not receptive to his advances because he's ginormous. And so now his whole thing is that he just Jack the Rippers them. Yeah. So that's fun. He also bit a surfer in the ocean after the surfer fell on him. And I have so many questions about that. I can think of a lot of different ways that this potentially happened, but all of them are really silly and goofy. And the only other one is requires such an alignment of the planets to create the coincidences that would cause it, that I don't know that that's what happened, and I can't find any information on how it happened. But I want to know, how do you fall on an elephant seal? I do not know. Anyway, he bit the surfer. This bite didn't cause any serious injury, but it really shows he has no problem attacking humans if they annoy him. That's what I took away from that. And then he also went after a 10-year-old pit bull named Sativa, and the dog is okay. The dog is okay. The dog is okay. That is the first thing I would want to know. So Sativa's all right. We're going to get into the story. She's being walked by a friend of her owner who's taking her out to get some exercise. She's throwing a stick into the surf. The dog's going in the surf, bringing it back. And what happens is the dog goes out, gets the stick, comes back to the beach, drops the stick, shakes it off. And so 2 people saw this. The person who was actually there with her and a person that was like just lived along that area. She sees the dog shake and then sees Nibbles charge out of the water. And she describes it as he just lands on the dog. Somehow, in a moment that defies physics, Sativa just wriggles out from underneath him. That's it, she just wiggles out, and then she turns around and squares up with him. And like, girl power, you go girl, but like, no, all at once. It's the image of a pup squaring up with an elephant seal for me. I can't even. So immediately the person there with Sativa is hurling the stick at the seal, grabs the, well, I don't know if she grabs the dog or calls the dog, but they run. And they're all right. What happens is Sativa has a wound about the size, it's the diameter of a quarter, so I'd like to think it's just she has a wound the size of a quarter, exactly, on like an inner thigh, but she is otherwise unscathed. She's fine, no broken bones, nothing. She is a liquid dog, and she is all right. All I can say is, go Sativa! Woof woof, girl! Awesome. So what is happening with Nibbles has, it seems, nothing to do with him being sick. This is something that has been seen by, I don't know, officials, biologists, whatever, at Sonoma Beach a few times beforehand. They've seen this kind of thing happen. So what happens is, you've got a juvenile male elephant seal who is finally, like, mature, and he is trying to carve out a territory for himself. However, he's just flooded with oodles of testosterone. So he's just big mad all the time about everything. The problem here is that the harbor seals aren't having it. They don't want Nibbles. The girlies aren't having it. He's also becoming socially isolated because the way elephant seals play is on the beach, they square up and play, and the way harbor seals do it is in the water. So they're not compatible that way either. Like, he is an outlier. He doesn't get along with this group of seals. They don't have the same behaviors. And, you know, he's staying a lot longer than he was supposed to. Ideally, he should have been in Alaska foraging and fattening up. And instead, almost as if a result of this social isolation, he's just kind of been, like, displaced in time. He doesn't know. He's just hanging out. And they're really hoping that he will move along and kind of recalibrate and figure things out, because they don't want to have to go through like the next steps of what do we do if this seal is a danger to the public. They don't want to have to deal with the next steps of what do they do if this animal stays and becomes more and more dangerous. Because even though he belongs to a kind of seal protected on a federal level, if an animal becomes enough of a threat to the safety and health of the human public, it can be taken care of if deemed necessary. Nibbles, do better, you know? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know what lesson there was to learn today. The only thing I really took away from researching elephant seal attacks is that I don't want to experience one. They're huge, they're tough, and they're angry. I want zero part of that. I guess if you see a seal and it's coming towards you, and it looks like it's got a little malformed elephant trunk hanging off the end of its nose, just go in the opposite direction. Don't engage. I couldn't really find records of actual fatalities caused by elephant seals, but the fact of the matter is, if they want to rip you apart, if they want to tear you limb from limb, they can. And they're predatory animals. I just wouldn't. Yeah. If you liked this video and you want some more bloodthirsty animal content, then subscribe right meow. I am here Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Bye. As Roughhouse so often does, things turn to tears. That's from Frasier.
But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again. Frasier has left the building.